Just remember, listen, remember we all had a fucking conversation.
Okay, well, Kevin, I want you to remember one thing, okay? Unlike all of these other men in here who need something from you, who want your approval, want your validation, I don't need anything from you, and I want to hold you to account for the kinds of things that you're saying in this room.
Got
Yes,
it.
somebody in here, who the fuck says somebody needs something from Kevin Hart? And nobody can say anything.
I don't need anything from Kevin Hart.
All y'all need something from Kevin.
Okay.
I don't need shit from Kevin.
No, you guys need dick riding. Okay, keep dick riding. There's a whole bunch of black women out here.
Guys,
there's a big line between dick riding and
Look at this.
Relax.
Look at this.
No,
ain't nobody gonna relax with somebody.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Look at this.
Guys.
This is not what the room was for.
One mic.
Hello.
Sad.
Hey, y'all.
Always somebody gotta come in the room with some
I'm just
fucking
mute
bullshit.
Don't be rude.
Everybody for a second.
This is not what the room was for, guys.
Relax.
Okay.
We gotta
relax.
Okay, y'all. Hello. Thank you, everybody. Like the whole purpose of this chat was created to Marlon. He had to leave. It's to have a healthy dialogue. So, Edil, you're 100% valid in how you feel, and I don't want you to feel like you're being gaslighted. So, by all means, like, continue to express how you feel. Like, this is a rare opportunity that we have to actually speak to Kevin. So, you're totally valid in saying what you're saying, but I just want us to keep respect. We do have a lot of people in this room, so we just want to be respectful when we're speaking to one another.
Okay, so you okay with what the young lady just called every male in the room?
I didn't hear what she said because everyone was yelling.
She said
so
that
I
we
actually
all
missed what she
want
said.
something. She said we all want something from Kevin, and we're all dick riding Kevin, and all of us are in here because we don't agree with her point. We're all dick riding Kevin.
Yeah, there's no need to say that.
Maybe
that
was unnecessary. And
I'm not no dick rider.
It would be
unnecessary if it wasn't true.
No. I think there's a balance. I think there's
That's fight.
Hold on, OG.
Right.
Hold on.
Thank you,
I
brother,
think
for saying
hold on,
OG.
OG. Hold on.
She needs to know who the fuck.
No,
she's
listen.
talking to.
Hold on.
All right, but
Just out here calling niggas dick riders.
Hold on. Before we get crazy, first, let's realize that there's number one that this room was started for a reason, right? And the reasons to have this conversation, we have in this conversation. Let's always remember that. Also, I think there's balance to both sides, right? Like, we can't sit here as black men, be in this room laughing, joking, and not understand what some of that laughing and joking at certain things may do to our black women, right? So that's where the gaslighting comments come in, and it makes sense, right? So we can't act like that doesn't exist. We also can't act like because a young lady said the men in this room are dick riding, that we can't act like that's enough to just disregard everything she's saying, right? There still needs to be some accountability on us just as black men, right? Like, she said we dick riding. Let me finish, please. She said she dick riding, right? That takes nothing away from the legendary things you've done in this game. It takes nothing away from the people you've elevated and put on in this game. It's a young black woman who felt the way and expressed it. We should hear it before flipping. I think that's where we lose a lot of the conversation, is we flip before that. And if I may, to the black women in the room, I think you also need to hear the side that I don't know if men need something, but there is just a certain level of understanding that we don't have because it's not being communicated, right? What's being communicated is they think that they're defending either a friend or someone they look up to. So in the instance where someone said is, I don't need anything from you, as a reporter, you're having this conversation with this world-renowned comedian. There's something needed there. Maybe not in the I don't know, in the tangible part, but yeah, you need something there because he's responding to you. I just don't want this to become a situation where it looks like we can't have a conversation amongst black men and black women about a black man without it turning into a gender war. That's just what I feel.
Mouse, this should have never been a gender thing in the first place. But I'm sorry, bro. I don't take too kindly to somebody calling me a dick rider, bro. And
I understand that.
Let me
and I understand that, OG.
Statement, bro.
Go ahead.
Let me finish my statement. I've known Kev before Huge Kev. I've known Kev from Kev the Bastard. Okay? Kev the Little Bastard, whatever Kev's name was. I don't take too kindly to this because there's a lot of us in here that are successful in our own rights that don't come to Kev and ask Kev for shit. Okay, so I don't give a fuck if I'm in the street. I don't give a fuck if I'm in a room. Nobody, black woman, white woman, black dude, white dude, gonna call me a dick rider, homie. It ain't
But
fucking
go ahead.
happening.
When someone
OG,
So you
but
can
there's
try.
a
writer,
So you
digital.
can try to
it's not always that you
take
want
this and
something
twist it
specific
any
for
way
like
you want to.
affirmation.
But they're trying to turn this because Bill Cosby was brought up. It's trying to be turned into a man versus woman thing when he never said Bill Cosby wasn't guilty from the first place. So us backing him and saying that's not what he said turns us into a dick rider. You ain't gonna say it in my face, and I'll be
That's
goddamn if
not
you're
what
gonna
she
call me
said
that on a
though.
platform.
That's not what
That's
she
not how
said.
she
But
said
don't
it.
call me a
That's
dick
not what
Even
rider.
she
if
Don't
said.
call me a dick
I
Okay,
just
rider.
don't
OG.
want it to
That's not what she
become
said.
as the OG in the room, as the OG in the room, I'm saying as the OG in the room, I get what you're saying as a man, but there's a certain accountability as an OG. And I'm not on any side outside of the side of let's protect the black woman that's in this conversation, right? So I get it that she might have violated you as a man, but as a man and as an OG in this shit, you gotta have the wherewithal that you can't really flip on her because one, it's a digital screen behind it. Like it's a digital wall behind it. So like all the rah-rah stuff is not gonna affect anybody. It's gonna have you on your side looking crazy, but also what does it look like to the other women in the room? What does it look like to other men in the room? If we're gonna start switching this shit and switching the narrative to where we can have conversations with different opinions without the shit getting nasty and people disrespecting one another as men and women, we got to start with ourselves. That's all I'm saying, OG. That's all I'm
So
And I
saying.
Mouse.
understand what you're saying. Let me answer him. Let me answer him. I understand what you're saying, bro. But don't check us. Check the person who started this shit. Check
So
her.
That's not
so
what
Not
she
listen.
me.
said
It's
We
though.
do
I
woman.
know,
have
but
It's
to
on.
look
listen.
It's
at.
not on me.
Ed,
It's
It's on
not
Ed
even
and
a.
another
It's
Mouse.
woman
not
to
even a.
check her.
Look, Ed
It's
and
on a
Mouse.
woman to
Listen,
check her.
Mouse.
It's not to check people or call them dick riders, but to be fair, every time a woman is asking Kevin Hart a question, all the men in the room start interrupting her.
Thank
Period.
you.
Period.
Thank you.
When the men in the room are talking to Kevin, nobody
Talking
interrupts
to the
them
men.
or tries to laugh them out of the building. But
But
every
that's
time,
what right, and
Period.
that's why I'm talking
no.
to the
A
men.
lot of the dick riding thing is unnecessary. Saying we need something from Kevin is unnecessary. But honestly, I'm looking in this room. If a girl is talking to Kevin and asking him a question, she gets interrupted the whole time. So
And
there's
that's why
Right.
I'm talking to the men saying we need a respect. And it's not on me, OG. All I'm saying, it's not on me to check a black woman. I'm never taking that. I'm never taking that charge. It's on another woman in here if they feel that way to be like, hey, maybe Ito, you wildin'. Or maybe it'll Kev, because that's who she's talking to. But it's not
Can
on
So
I
us
can
to
I
listen.
speak
G
for
check
myself?
another woman. It's not on us.
Can we hear from Ito and then can we hear from Kevin?
Okay.
Alicia, can
No,
you
I
bring
agree with
Isaac
whatever.
Hayes up?
Hi.
Listen, guys.
Got it.
Let her finish talking, but ask yourself one question. What? Why is this turning to this? Like, guys, we were in a great vibe. We're in a great space. Don't let it turn. Don't let it turn left. Like as a group of people, this is a listen, guys. Listen for a second. As a group of people, right? It's thousands of us. I don't know.
Yo, Ryan, you gotta mute, dogs. Ryan, you gotta mute.
As we got thousands of people in a room, and it was great dialogue, guys. The purpose of this app was to be able to connect with real people, have real conversations. If everybody argues or everybody gets to a point of crazy back and forth with volume, well, then we're not serving any purpose. There was an amazing vibe at one point. I'm off from work today. This is extremely entertaining and valuable because I'm talking to the people. So let's not lose the intent behind what we started by dramatizing it and putting this negative feel in it. Let's be adults. Let's be mature and finish the conversation. Let her speak. And after she's done speaking, then we can have the floor to talk and give answers. But there's a crazy narrative that will hold a precedent as to what this was when it wasn't. And that's what people will run with. So if you've heard nothing that I said from the beginning, I said we love the negative. So prove me wrong. Let's not fall in love with that version of this and go back to the positive. Let her speak.
Yeah, I think it's just really interesting that every time a black woman on this stage says something, we're being condescended to, we're being patronized by, and we're being talked around and around in riddles. Like, I came on this stage because I was really concerned by the kinds of things that you were saying, Kevin. And again, I think it was Mouse who said earlier, I don't know if you said I was a reporter. I just want to clear that up. I'm not a reporter. I'm a fiction writer. I'm a Columbia grad student. So I don't need to be spoken to or condescended to in a way that demeans my intelligence, first of all. Thank you very much. Secondly, the question I asked you earlier about conflating negativity with critique is something that I've noticed from you in most of your public conversations. I needed some clarification about that, because whenever a Black woman on this stage gets up to ask you why you specifically say one thing, but then you turn around and run around and make these conflations that I just think are like unnecessary. Like for earlier when you said about Hannibal Burress, about how he, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard you say this multiple times now, how Hannibal Burress was the one who took down what's his face, Bill Cosby, right? Like he went on that stage, said these things, and that ignited all of the conversations that proceeded afterwards, that started the criminal investigations against him. When you use that word, like taking him down, that phrase, we must share different definitions, because I don't understand how that could be read as somebody taking somebody else down. To me, that seems like Hannibal Burress actually used his platform to bring to light something that was heinous and destructive to an entire community. Cosby was doing all this shit for so many years, going about totally just destroying the lives of so many women out there who wanted their own futures within entertainment or comedy or what have you. Like, to me, that's like, it's, first of all, it's obfuscatory, right? You're conflating things that should not be conflated. And secondly, it is like, it's insidious semantically. It's very insidious, because that's all.
Okay, so I'm going to respond to you. There's a lot of words that you use that, I'm be honest, I don't know the definition to. So within what you said, here's I'm just going to give you reality. Do you think that I think Cosby is innocent?
I didn't say you thought that.
I just asked the question.
No, I don't think that.
Okay. Do you think that I think Cosby was wrongfully accused and should be let free?
No, I don't think you think that either.
Okay, so then what is the intent behind what you're saying you're doing? If you clearly know that I'm not an individual that's not on the side of thinking or believing that what he did was wrong, what's the intent behind your conversation? What's the intent behind your questions? If I just ask you just listen to me. If I just ask you two straightforward questions, which is simple, do you think that I think he's innocent? Or do you think that I think that he was wrongfully accused? Your answer was both no.
But you said,
hey, listen, let me finish. I let you speak the entire time. Just listen to what I'm saying. I'm giving you a verbal version of clickbait. That's what this is. You also use the narrative every time a Black woman speaks. Well, I don't know about anybody else, but I don't look at the profile of who's speaking. So I don't know who's Black and who's not. We're on an audio app. So stop attaching the Black woman conversation to a conversation via audio. I don't know who or what you are. So stop creating narrative that can act as clickbait, because that's what it is. There is no wrongful intent to not let a Black woman speak. There is no wrongful intent behind a conversation of a comedian using a joke that started the conversation that then got a man arrested. There is no wrongful intent. It's a conversation. But we're living in a day and time where everything you say, well, wait a minute, we can hold you on and we can make you fucking fall. That's the world we're in, which brings us back to the topic of conversation to wrap it all around, where we were discussing, Kevin, are you affected by this? Kevin, how do you feel? I love the narrative behind the conversation, once again, because it's marketing, it's advertising. But bringing everything back, this is why I'm not affected, because there's a high level of ridiculous attached to every conversation.
Kevin,
so if you know the answers, wait a second. So if you know the answers to your questions, if you're asking them still, well, you're only asking them to create a world of negativity. You just said, I don't believe that you feel that way. So then why continue to push the narrative? Because you want something negative.
I don't think you know what's going on inside the content.
I do know what's going on. And I gave you two. Listen.
Okay? You can guys, I'm really sorry. Just to be respectful, I think we did hear both points of what you guys were trying to say. And I just don't think that continuing on this topic, you guys are going to come to like a common ground. So I think
It
maybe
shouldn't
just
even be a
respectfully
conversation.
agree.
This